Hello everyone, this is Cedric with CaregiversRemainingConnected.com, and today I wanted to talk to caregivers about communication. Communicating with our parents or patient who has Alzheimer's would be one of the most important things you will have to learn. Developing creative skills, creative techniques is something that you will have to learn. Now, when you're talking about communication, there's different forms of communication. You know, you have the speech communication, then you have your body language and other forms of communicating. Now, when you're talking about Alzheimer's, you will, as you go down the line, it will become a time where they cannot communicate back to you what's wrong. And this is when you have to be a detective, if you will. You have to figure out what it is that they want, or what it is that they actually need, because they won't be able to tell you in a way that it makes sense to you. Even though they might tell you in a way that it doesn't make sense to you. So I wanted to take time to just make one point. And that point is, do not just believe that once they progress in the stages that they just talk a lot of gibberish. They just doesn't make any sense. And so we have a tendency to ignore them when they get in the mode to where they just doesn't make any sense at all. And most time, if they are saying the same thing, even though it doesn't make sense, they are trying to relay a message to you, but just cannot put the words together to tell you what it is that's bothering them. It's very important not to ignore them when they're talking to you. I know it can be frustrating. I know it can be a bother sometimes, but it's something that could be seriously wrong with them, and they're trying to tell you, and because we are thinking that they're talking out of their mind, we'll simply ignore them, or we'll just say, yeah, and that'll be the end of it. I will tell you a story that happened in our local nursing facility. There was this lady that was having a problem. But because her communication skills had declined, she didn't know how to relay the message to the staff what was wrong with her. Now, this woman had been constipated for a period of time, a few days. And and she couldn't say, hey, I'm constipated, could you give me something? So all day, for a couple of days, any staff member that would listen, she would tell them to take this baby out of me. Now, the staff, knowing that this lady is 80 years old, know good and well that she couldn't be pregnant. But they couldn't decipher, maybe it was something that was wrong with it. It was a pain in her stomach, because she had been constipated for too long, and she couldn't tell them that she was in pain and needed to use the bathroom, so she would just say, can you take this baby out of me? Well, that became a joke to the staff, and for a couple of days they would pass by, hey, what's wrong with Miss So-and-so? Oh, she just ready to deliver that baby. And it just so happened that a couple of days later, there was a staff member that paid attention. And when they looked over in her charts and went back to review notes, they realized that she had not had a bowel movement and that she had been constipated. And once they took action and did what they had to do, the lady stopped complaining that she was pregnant. But my point is, she was telling them all the time that it was something wrong and that she was in pain in her stomach. But because she could not communicate it right, she was being ignored. And just by the grace of God, one of the staff members paid attention to her charts and realized that there hadn't been a bowel movement. So when you're at home and you're thinking that mom and daddy or whoever has the Alzheimer's is talking out of their head, if they repeat that same sentence over and over, try to find out, okay, what could be wrong. You know, if they saying something about their head, but it's out of the norm, and you know it can't be happening, maybe they're just trying to tell you that their head is bothering them, and you might need to give them some pain medicine. This is just an example. Just don't ignore them and figure that they're talking out of their heads, because they really could be trying to tell you something. So developing that skill, it takes time to try to to communicate with them. But if you pay attention to them long enough, you'll start figuring them out a little more. My dad didn't talk to me the last couple of years of his life. Not one word. But I had to figure out when he was hungry. I had to figure out when he wanted something to drink. I had to figure out everything for him. And I did that because I paid attention a lot to him. Because I know I was his eyes and ears. I knew I had to put myself in his position. I knew when I wanted water, I gave him water. When I wanted food, I gave him a little food. I had to think for him. And I had to pay attention to his body language. So if he pursed his mouth up, I had to pay attention to that sign that, hey, he might want to drink a little water out of his straw. They're talking to you. The thing about it is, you have to pay attention to what they're actually telling you, whether that be in body language or whether that be in a sentence that doesn't make sense to you. So I hope that this helps someone that maybe be going through this, may look at this video and say, Mama do talk a lot about such and such. And maybe I need to pay attention to it. So just pay attention to them. Be the best caregiver that you can be. And when it's all said and done, you'll know that you done given your all to what you needed to do. Thank you.